Hi guys, it's me, Javier, and our topic today will be the past perfect and the past perfect progressive. You know that in our last video we talked about the present perfect and the present perfect progressive at the same time. So we are going to do the same today. Why? Because for me, it's easier and it is easier for you to understand the lesson better because the both of these two tenses are truly related. Their structure is almost the same and so their functions. So we are going to begin with the structure, beginning with the past perfect. Well, the past perfect is formed with the subject, obviously, then the present participle of the verb have, which is had, and finally a past participle of a verb. For example, she had written the report when I called her. We have the subject, the past participle had, and the another past participle in this case of the verb write, which is written. She had written the report when I called her. Then the past perfect continuous, which is almost the same. It is formed by a subject, then had been, and finally, in this case, the present participle of a verb. We had been dating for 1 year when we decided to get married. You know that the present participle of a verb is basically a verb with ing. We had been dating. So now let's see the past perfect function. When do we use it and how do we use it? Well, basically, we can use the past perfect when an action takes place before another one in the past. That means that there will be two tenses. There will be an action that started first and then another one that is following the previous one. For example, I had washed the dishes before I started cooking. Here we have the time marker before, which indicates which action was first or which action was the second one. Um, it can be also by the time I started cooking, I had washed the dishes. So here we see that the first action was or is that I washed the dishes. Then I started cooking. She had already finished her studies before she got married. Here we see two time markers. The first one already and the second one before again. Already indicates that an action was taken first. In this case, it really indicates you which action was the first one. By the time she got married, she had already finished her studies. We can use the past perfect also when an action had a specific duration before another one in the past again. We could say that this function is almost the same. Lewis had practiced maths long before he wrote Alice in Wonderland. Here we have a specific duration, and obviously here we have two actions. The first one is that Lewis practiced maths, and after several years he wrote Alice in Wonderland. Cortázar had worked as a translator for years before he published his first book. First, he worked as a translator for years. Here we have the specific duration. And after several years again, he published his first book. Before talking um, about the past perfect continuous, I looked up another function which is used when we want to express regret. How is it formed? Well, we just use the verb wish and the past perfect. You know that the verb wish is used to express desire. It means desire. It's like wanting something with your whole heart. For example, to express regret will be I wish I had studied for the exam. What does it what does it mean? That well, it means that basically I didn't study for the exam, that I failed my exam, so that is why I wish I had studied for the exam. I wish I had traveled last year. It means that I didn't travel last year. I would have liked to do that. She wishes she had eaten that hamburger. My parents wish they had not bought the car. Again, it means that they, in fact, bought the car and it's something they regret. They wish they had not bought the car. Uh, now, let's talk about the past perfect continuous. First, I would like to clarify or to mention that you know that the past perfect continuous it's not commonly seen, it's not commonly used, and that is because we only use this tense, not only, but we commonly or mostly use this tense in a formal context. Um, because in spoken English, we mostly use the past progressive, not the past perfect continuous, because it might seem to be difficult to use and larger also, right? But let's see that we use the past perfect continuous when we want to show cause and effect, and we want to show that something started in the past and continued up until another time in the past. These two functions are kind of related, at least for me. For example, we had been talking for an hour before he arrived. She'd been standing all night long. That is why she wanted to sit down. Here we have the cause and the effect. She was tired because she had been jogging. They failed the exam because they had not been attending class. We can see also the cause and effect. Um, why did they fail the exam? Well, because they had not been attending class. And finally, here I wrote some sentences in order for you to understand the whole lesson better. I recommend you, as always, to write them um, in your book because that will really help you to understand better everything. If you keep writing, if you write the whole all the time, you will really improve your English if you learn them by heart also. So you might take a screenshot, or as I said, you might write them down in your book. I will read just some of them. They had lived here for 3 years before they moved. When I got home, the show had already started. Here, the present perfect. He couldn't go out because he had been doing his homework, and I had been waiting for the bus for 30 minutes when it finally arrived. The here the use of the present perfect, the past perfect continuous, pardon, sorry. And that would be it, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And well, I hope you really understood everything. And see you in the next time. See you in our next lesson.